Great. I think we're live and recording now. So welcome everybody. Thank you very much for joining this webinar from Ireland. And we're here to talk about TU Dublin. And I'm really delighted to be welcomed, to welcome Deirdre Ryan. And Deirdre, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Okay.
And then maybe, you know, what I'd love to start by asking you is, you know, once you've told us who you are and what you do at the institution, how's lockdown been for you? What's it been like the last few weeks here in Dublin?
Great. Thanks, Jacob. And hi, everyone. Thank you very much for coming along to today's webinar about the International Pathway Programmes in TU Dublin. So my name is Deirdre Ryan and I coordinate the International Pathway Programmes. And I'll be telling you a little bit more about these programmes throughout this webinar. And I also recently completed my PhD on the topic of internationalization of the curriculum. So I've been working in the field of international education and researching in that field for a number of years now, and that's the area that I'm passionate about and excited to be with you all today and to answer any questions that you might have in this area. So lockdown, you were asking about, Jacob. Yeah, well, I think, you know, in Ireland, like in the rest of the world where you all are at the moment, we've been living through very strange and uncertain times over the last couple of months, but the end is definitely in sight, which is really positive. So specifically in Ireland, I think it was last week, the government outlined the 5-phase roadmap, essentially Unlock Ireland. So we now have some landmarks about, you know, when we can reunite with friends and family and when retail and essential services will start to open again. So that's reassuring. So we're now in phase 1. The government is taking a very cautious and measured approach to unlocking the country, which is good because they're prioritizing public health. But at the same time, we can see, you know, little developments throughout the phases. So just a few examples. Right now, we can catch up with up to 4 people from outside our households, obviously still adhering to social distancing and all that. We can travel for up to 5K to go for a walk, and the weather's fantastic in Ireland at the moment, which is, you know, helps a lot. And some retail is starting to open again as well. So slowly but surely, we can see that we're on the right path to getting back to our new normal. Specifically with regards to international students, so the government have put a number of measures in place to support and protect international students who were based in Ireland during this time. And these are outlined in detail on the Department of Education website, but I suppose I'll just flag a few that I think are important to communicate. If any international students' health is adversely affected by the coronavirus and they're based in Ireland, they have free access to the healthcare services. I know a number of international students were working during this time. They may have lost their jobs. They are also eligible for the government pandemic payment, which is €350 a week. And there's other measures like this in place, you know, for example, in terms of accommodation, there's a blanket ban on rent increases during this time and different things, just to ensure that international students, like, you know, the rest of the public, feel protected and safe during this time. So yeah, I think in terms, like I said, we're on the right track at the moment. Like, it's definitely taken a turn for the better. And I think as well, this whole time, while it's been so strange, it's been challenging, it's really highlighted Ireland's community spirit. You know, we're known for our sense of community, and I think it's just really emphasized the sense of collaboration and communities, and people are just working together to help not only the most vulnerable in society, but just one another to get through these challenging times. And I think that's always, you know, refreshing to see. So yeah, I think, yeah, that would be my take on lockdown.
Yeah, I think that's so true, isn't it, Deirdre? And it's great to hear that. And actually, you know, the strength of the community here in Ireland has been really impressive, I think. And we,
yeah.
we've seen, people following, the social distancing guidelines, really closely.
Very responsibly.
Ireland really responsibly. And I think it's also been really great to see here in Ireland that international students have been included in a lot of the support measures to help Irish citizens. That welfare payment, we've seen our own students, haven't we? Many of them, may have had part-time jobs in hotels during their studies. Those have closed now, those hotels, but those students are eligible for that €350 payment, per week for 12 weeks. So, not just Irish citizens, not just EU citizens, but international students from all over the world can benefit from that. Hey, Deirdre, maybe we could move to, the foundation program, runs through the year. So you've had students studying, the end of this semester. And of course you've had to move online for them and deliver that learning online and let them finish their courses there. How's that been? Can you tell us a bit about what that online learning has looked like and how those current students have coped with moving online like that?
Yeah, sure. Well, just in TU Dublin in general, since the lockdown, obviously at the flick of a switch, we've had to move online, everything, the academic and the support services. And both the academic and the support service staff, the admin staff, are doing everything they can to support students as best they can academically and in other ways. In terms of academic support, so like the foundation year students, all the students, it was the middle of semester 2 when the campus locked down. So we utilised TU Dublin's learner management system, Brightspace, to communicate with students. So depending on the programme and the cohort of students, lecturers were either able to continue delivering live online classes. Obviously some students had technical difficulties or didn't have secure internet connection or different time zones. So there was also the option for students to follow recorded lectures, or they were directed to self-directed learning materials and things like that. So as best as possible, the university moved the traditional physical learning to the online environment. Also, we've just finished the exam period. So the last 2 weeks are traditionally when we have the invigilated exams, but obviously we weren't able to conduct these. So the lecturers developed alternative assessments that went through the quality assurance process to ensure they were fair and relevant to the learning outcomes, and to allow students to still engage with the exams, but virtually and through these alternatives. And coupled with this, the university, the academic council, organised a mitigation policy. So if any student wasn't able to participate in the alternative exams because of anything, health or just stress or different time zones or whatever factors, they can defer till the August sitting of the exams, and they won't be penalised and they won't have to pay a fee. So it will be treated as a first sitting. So little things like that have been put in place to help students during this time. In terms of kind of non-academic support or pastoral care support, all the support services like the counselling, the chaplaincy, admissions, they're all still functioning, business as usual, albeit in a virtual environment. So I know they're regularly, like the counselling and chaplaincy, have been regularly in touch with students, just reminding them of how to link in with the service if they want, giving them little videos on, how to manage stress or anxiety during this time, or homesickness or things like that. So yeah, I think we have to recognise the adaptability of, both the students and the staff, and the resilience of how they have so quickly and effectively moved to this online environment. I can speak.
Yeah, that's great to hear. That's great to hear, Deirdre. And I guess one thing to think about, those, it's been a really successful end of the semester. Given the challenging circumstances, and the university moved very quickly to get everybody online and studying online and completing their exams, and that's going to be really useful experience for the autumn, the fall semester that's coming up. Tell us a bit about what that's likely to look like, and I guess in particular from your programs, the foundation program, how will students study? What mix of online and offline might they be expected to have? What will that look like?
Yeah, so yeah, like I said, so I'm responsible for the pathway programs, and one of our pathways is the International Foundation Year. So that has two intakes. I'll just talk a little bit about that. The September intake and the January intake. So with regards to the September intake, these students, they had completed their first semester in the traditional format. It was September to December, and they were midway through their second semester when the lockdown happened. So like I said, they either had live lessons or recorded lectures to continue their studies. The January intake students, though, their studies were more interrupted, and we've learned a lot from this experience that will inform our autumn delivery. So our January students, they had just started in January, so they were midway through their first semester, and they just started their second semester in May, so they'll be continuing to study with us until July. So we, thankfully, all the students confirmed that they had secure internet connection. So we were able to move completely to live lessons for these students. And they've been working really well. So we had some very quick professional development sessions initially with the lecturers to upskill them on how to really utilize and leverage all the different tools that are available in Brightspace to ensure the learning experience for students is as active and communicative and student-centered as it would be in a traditional physical classroom. So we didn't want it just to be like lecture recordings, we wanted it to be live classes where students can still work in groups, put them into, breakout rooms. In Bongo is the platform that we use, and get students using the mic, contributing to virtual discussions and things like that. So that's been working really well, and yeah, we've learned a lot of lessons from that process, and that will inform how we approach our programs moving forward in a virtual capacity. What else about the January?
No, that's great. That's great, Deirdre. That's really good to see, and great to even particularly give students an idea of the kind of software that they'll be using. So Brightspace is the platform that you use across the university. Bongo, you said, is the kind of meeting tool that you use for live classrooms and discussions.
Yeah, exactly. So they have about
go ahead.
The January intake students currently, like, they're doing 26-hour contact hours of live classes a week. So so across all their modules, they do 8 modules, 3 English language, and then the other modules are related to their disciplines. So they're doing their physics or their computer science, their biology, online, live through Bongo, and that's been working well. And that's our plan for the remainder of the year, to take that approach. So, for example, our international bridging program, that's another one of our pathway programs. That program is for students who have met the academic requirements for their undergrad or their postgrad, but they need to further improve their language skills. So it's an 8-week intensive academic English program that starts on the 6th of July and runs till the 28th of August. And we'll be delivering this purely online via Brightspace and Bongo. So we encourage students, if they need to increase their language level before they start their undergrad and postgrad, to enroll in this course. The fee for this course is €3,500, but considering the circumstances, if students pass the course, the bridging course, they're guaranteed a place on their undergrad or postgraduate studies, and they also will get a €700 reduction from the first year fee, if that makes sense. So they'll do the online course, and then if they pass that, they're guaranteed their place, and they also get the 700 reduction. So that's our next pathway program that's going to be delivered in the summer.
That's great. And Deirdre, anything else that students who are, in the application process right now, maybe they're holding offers, either for bridging over the summer or in fact for the autumn term, perhaps for the foundation program, maybe they're conditional offers, or maybe they're even, thinking about applying right now. Anything else that those students need to think about, need to know from TU Dublin?
Yeah, so admissions office, it's business as usual with them. So we encourage to apply as normal, and there's more flexibility now with surrounding the applications. We understand that it can be difficult for students to get transcripts, or, for example, to do the IELTS test. So with regards to English language test, we're now accepting Duolingo, done remotely. So we just encourage you to get in touch with the admissions office or directly with me if it's for bridging or foundation year, and we can help you with your application process, answer any questions that you have. With regards to the foundation year, the September intake is due to start 21st of September. I'm not 100% sure on the start date, but around then. But like I said, if students, you know, there might still be travel restrictions in your country, or there's so much uncertainty at this stage, but students will be able to start their studies at home if they can't get here to start in September, and then we would welcome them when they can travel safely to Ireland. So it will be offered online as well. I think even for students who are physically here in Ireland, there will be a lot of remote delivery because of the social distancing restrictions. I think the capacity is 30% for lecture theatres, so that will mean a lot of the classes will be delivered online through Brightspace, and then there might be tutorials or maybe English classes or conversation groups that will be face-to-face where we can accommodate the social distancing. But there's still the Academic Council, and there's a committee that are working on this every day and will be throughout the summer to work out the details of how delivery will look in September. And on the TU Dublin website, I'm sorry, my screen is gone. On the TU Dublin website, there's a frequently asked questions section around the coronavirus, and the president of TU Dublin, Professor David Fitzpatrick, he puts updates regularly there, as do the Academic Council and other support services around the university. So we'd encourage prospective students to check in with the frequently asked questions section, because you'll probably get a lot of your answers there, or contact admissions directly or myself if it's pathway programs, and we'll help you as best we can.